The biggest mistake you can make in dating is hearing what you wanted someone to say instead of listening to what they actually said. Love Island episode 49. Let's get into it, besties. Now, we started the episode with Princess Jasmine revealing to the ladies that Kavan had said the big L word, but she left out a very important detail, didn't she, bestie? He didn't actually say that. Because unless we've all developed group early onset dementia, I think we all know what he said. He didn't say I love you, he said, I think I love you. And then Jasmine coached him into saying what she wanted him to say. And then the issue continues because then she says to the girls, Kavan said that he loved me. Baby, that's not what happened. That's just not what happened. Now, we've been watching the series of Love Island for approximately 5 years now, so it'll be hard for you to think back. But do you remember at the start of these debriefs, I would often refer to Jasmine as Princess Jasmine from Dubai, because she is this confident, international, smart, sexy woman. And if you've also noticed, I try to be as unbiased as possible, but I have always been quite biased towards Kavan. I'll put my hands up and admit it, because I've always thought he's quite a gorgeous boy. Keyword, boy. Because Kavan was literally a teenager a mere 24 months ago. Let that sink into your brain real quick. So despite Kavan being an almost teenager, he's been able to somehow emotionally undo this grown woman. Now, I actually have no doubt that Jasmine has deep feelings for Kavan because, why would she lie? I'm just not convinced that he feels the same way anymore, and it's a shame because I think he once did. And this is the most important bit of modern dating, ladies. Do not put words into someone's mouth, because I think I love you and I love you are two very different sentences. Because best believe 5 months or 5 years from now, if this relationship fundamentally falls apart, Jasmine will turn around to Kavan and say, but you told me you love me. To which Kavan is able to respond, no, I thought I loved you. Ooh. He'd be right. And that's why it's important to believe what people actually say, not make them say what you want them to say, you know? Now, speaking of children, we need to move on to Mika. Because Mika is also, much like Kavan, incredibly young. Which is why I found it difficult. I'm sorry that her family so enthusiastically accepted Samraj. On paper, Samraj is one of those guys that ticks a lot of boxes. He's articulate, he's intelligent, he's gentlemanly. But maybe this is the curse of being a slightly older woman myself. I don't buy it. I don't buy what the boy's been selling. I'm sorry, I don't. Just something about him is far too polished, too rehearsed. I just feel like he's the kind of guy that would read like a feminist manifesto on the underground, you know, and look around to see who's watching him do it. Because when he this evening described Mika as an elegant woman, I couldn't help but say that's not true. She's a young child. And Mika does present herself well, but that doesn't stop the fact that she's still exceptionally young and, quite impressionable. Which is why I'd prefer if an older woman in her life stepped in and said, are you sure about this guy? Now, if you're new here, my name's Coco. I discuss friendships, relationships, dating, all that good stuff. So follow along for more if you're interested in that kind of thing. Which brings us on to Priya and Ethan, because forgive me, when Ethan's family walked in, I wanted to say, who are they there for? Who's Ethan? I mean, everyone's standing there with their partner and he's just stood there like an appendix. Do you know what I mean? Like, what's he doing there? Poor thing. I don't think it's very fair. But I have to admit, I've given Princess Aiden a hard time since he's been in the villa. But watching him interact with Priya's sister, I melted. I thought it was very, very sweet, and you've got to give credit where credit's due. Maybe him and Priya genuinely like each other. I don't see how, but you know. And speaking of family dynamics, that brings us very swiftly on to baby camel himself, made entirely of hair and eyelashes, Lorenzo. Now, when Lorenzo's papa and mama came in, first of all, who are these people? They don't seem like they know each other. It seemed a bit salty. The way his dad was speaking to his mum, I almost wanted to call Ofcom. I wanted to say, why is this man speaking like this? And then I realised with what Lorenzo said at the end, his parents are no longer together. Now, listen, I'm no psychoanalyst, okay? But that explains a lot. Seeing Lorenzo's parents aren't together and the way Lorenzo interacts in relationships explains so much about that guy. Am I wrong? Tell me I'm wrong. And I'm sorry, it actually made me like him even more. Okay? I'm sorry. But this episode just goes to show sometimes people make a lot more sense when you understand them, you know? Anyway, that's all for now. My name's Coco. I speak about dating, relationships, friendships all the bloody time, so you might as well follow along. Let's do it again tomorrow. I love you.